Hello again. This is our last session on Kuntak's theory of Vakrokti. We have already taken the varieties of Vakrokti, and today we'll be taking up the last two varieties. The first is Prakarana Vakrokta, that is episodic Vakrokti. Prakarana, that is Prakarana Vakrat. This deals with when the intended object is capable of maintaining suspense, and that too all along. And this is the product of, we can say, that a kind of a poetic skill which is required to create this episodic obliquity. The writer Kuntak says he produces, because he is in the zest of creation, he creates an illuming charm. This kind of Vakrokti has further subvarieties, which are obliquity of emotional states, obliquity of modified source story, obliquity of episodic relationship, obliquity of particular event and episode, obliquity of dominant rasa, of secondary episodes, of play within play, and obliquity of juncture. Now, obliquity of emotional state, the first subvariety, this is concerned with the state of the poet. The words or expression, when they come out in a zest of enthusiasm, the writer is filled with a kind of frenzy, and this frenzy provides a charm and strikingness to the text. This emotional state is lofty, and this is a device which is very frequently employed in good compositions. Now, Kuntak had an assumption that episodes they infuse music. Emotions they infuse music in a poet's life, and in such emotional states, the episodes of composition are created. Stately thoughts, stately is emotions, and these true emotions, he says, they are the reason for aesthetic transportation, because only because out of such emotional states we can be transported aesthetically into a different world. Obliquity of modified source story. Now, this is associated with the source of kavya. This is associated with the source of kavya. The pictures of life, they are not faithful copies, because whatever the poet conveys, it's not complete imitation, and they are rendered in words, but they are also modified by certain kind of predominant imagination that exists, and this becomes striking only when it is associated by thoughts and images which are awakened by imagination. Therefore, imagination plays an important role, because imagination transforms and changes the source material to composition. And that is why it is named as modified source story. The source is the inspiration, the imagination. It is further modified and transformed to produce a further text. It is based completely on the writer's imagination. Now, the writer, when he aims at introducing certain universal element in his story, because we know that kavya and poetry is not mere production of facts, it's all about imagination. So the poet has certain things in his minds, things as is told to him or thought by him, the past, the present, etc. So whatever is believed or ideal, it's not the poet's function to relate what has actually happened. He can also talk about something that might happen. That might happen. So, this imagination or inventive change It brings about a beauty in the episodes. And the best example of this kind of a modified source obligatory or story is Abhigyan Shakuntalam by Kalidas, because it's the highest. Then we have obligatory of particular event and episode. This kind of variety is concerned with the oblique use of event and episode. For example, when a meaning in the episodes of a poetry or kavya, if they are repeated again and again, every time they are repeated, they are embellished with a new kind of ornament each time, and they make it more striking. This repetition of expression, the same meaning, is considered to be a blemish in the words of Kuntar. So, the kind of repetition is a flaw, and this repetition is avoided by a good poet, because a good poet is like a sensitive reader, because every time he writes, repeats the same incident, he is carried away by certain difference in embellishment and opinion. Then we have the obligatory of dominant rasa. It is the consummation of Angirasa. That is, when we have epic poems of works of such scale and compass, which are like very eloquent and magnificent, the experience of intended rasa, the Angirasa, which according to like when we have read Natya Shastra, we know there was a Sahriday. Sahriday is somebody who achieves the same kind of experience, and which is the ultimate kind of response. But in art, he says the writer has an eye, and he nourishes this kind of a rasa through his compositional skills, and he creates an atmosphere which contributes to the evocation of intended emotion. And that is how obligatory of dominant rasa happens. Then we have obligatory of secondary episode. Uh, Whenever a writer inducts a small reference or event within an episode for the sake of achieving his primary aim, for example, he arranges interesting and meaningful references and episodes in his kavya. These secondary references or episodes are not mere decorative, Kuntak says, and they are employed integrally to attain the main purpose of composition. And that is how obligatory of secondary episode happens. Then we have obligatory of juncture. It includes the different stages or junctures which take place inside a kavya. A juncture translated into Hindi means sandhi, which is a combination of different phases of main action along with its subsidiaries. And it is generally known that the formation of sandhi or junctures, it depends upon different stages of action. For example, commencement, endeavor, prospect of success, certainty of success, attainment of results, etc. So all these junctures should be arranged in accordance with the rasa, and the matter can be modified accordingly. Now, Kuntak says the poet should not have an excessive craze for observing certain rules when junctures are not very appropriate, because junctures should be utilized in the structure of the plot in such a way that they are compiled for the sake of conformity and beauty. The next Vakrokti is Prabandh Vakrat, compositional obligatory. This is the last variety of obligatory. This variety it bears the beauty of combined complex of all five varieties talked earlier. That is phonetic, lexical, grammatical, sentential, and episodic. Now, when we say that obligatory of changing rasa, This is the first subvariety of compositional obligity. It means that all the episodes of the plot are organized in accordance with the principal Angirasa. So we have already read earlier that they are constructed in such a way that monotony has to be avoided and they are arranged accordingly. We have then obligatory of winding up the story. It deals with a particular part of a source for which the poet is writing, that is the purpose of his writing, intended purpose. So he winds up the story with a particular episode or the source story. This is his obligatory. Shelley's Prometheus Unbound is a very good example to understand this. We have furthermore examples by Keats and Shelley which can be used to understand certain obligaties, and we will be taking up these examples and poems to understand all such vakrokti and obligaties in our assignments, in our class assignments and notes that we are sharing in the groups. We take up these individual examples and individual vakrokti. Then we have obligatory of contingent objective. It is the result of protagonist actions performed. Kuntak says that when the writer begins, the protagonist attains certain extra results because of contingent objectives which are hidden or unknown in the source story. And such achievement enhances the excellence of the writing. Then we have obligatory of title, and which means that when the kavya is replete with a kind of vakrat, that is, it adds a symbolic name to the source story or symbolic mark, and the title of the work attracts the reader because of certain identical meaning, is known as vakrokti. Then we have obligatory of identical subject, which is the last variety of prabandha vakra, that is compositional obligatory. And he says that when great writers, great works are composed, each one of the theme that is being taken up by the writer possesses individual beauty. And therefore, the poets have their own approaches and own perceptions and views of looking at identical subjects. The subjects are identical, but each poet looks up at the subject in a different way. And a new design is given by the poet according to his own perception. And this kind of vakrokti is born out of certain natural state of the writer's mind and art. Innate quality of the poet gives rise to this vakrokti. This was all about Kuntak's theory of vakrokti. Now we'll have to focus on the assignments and textual examples to understand the different varieties and sub-varieties of vakrokti that we have discussed so far. Thank you.